House on the block. The gravel crunches beneath Marcus King's boots as he walks his golden retriever, Duke, down the driveway of his dream home. 3 acres of hard-earned peace nestled in the heart of quiet, upscale suburban neighborhood in Willowbrook, Texas. The morning sun catches a glint of his mailbox, polished chrome against red brick. Birds chirp. The air smells of cut grass and distant rain. Tranquility, earned with every overnight shift, every freelance job, every time he swallowed his pride and pushed forward. He's the only black homeowner in the gated portion of this community. He's used to the double takes, the surprised smiles that don't quite reach the eyes, the polite nods followed by whispered questions. Is he renting? He must be an athlete or a lottery winner. I didn't know you could buy in this sector without board approval. They don't say it out loud, but Marcus can hear it anyway. It's been 3 months since he moved in. 3 months of pretending not to notice the lingering stares at the HOA meetings, the unnecessary citations for fence height inconsistency, the one time someone left a printed copy of community aesthetic standards in his mailbox with highlighted notes. Duke found it first, shredded it before Marcus even saw who dropped it off. Still, Marcus remains polite. Calm. Controlled. That's what his mother taught him. You gotta be twice as good, baby. Make him feel like they're crazy if they doubt you. Today feels normal. Peaceful. Until it doesn't. A black SUV rolls past the iron gate at the end of his driveway, slowing just enough for the driver, a tight-faced white woman in a sharp suit, to glance down at her phone. Then she speeds up, cutting clean through his private property like it's a public road. Marcus freezes. His driveway, his private driveway, isn't a shortcut. It curves in a perfect loop up to his home, lined with solar lights and white stone borders. The gate's been open all morning while he waits on a delivery. He never expected someone would just drive through, but this is the 3rd car this week. He squints toward the street past the hedges and sees the real problem. The new development across the cul-de-sac doesn't have paved access yet. Construction crews are supposed to finish the side road in 2 months. Until then, someone's clearly been spreading the idea that his property is a shortcut. Marcus exhales, jaw tightening. He reaches down to rub behind Duke's ear. The dog looks up at him like he knows something's wrong. From a distance, a voice echoes faintly, overly cheerful, fake sweet. Good morning, Mr. King. Oh, don't mind the traffic. This is just temporary. We've all had to make little sacrifices during construction. He turns. It's her, the SUV driver, HOA Vice President Linda Whitmore. And just like that, the piece Marcus built starts to crack. 2 days later, Marcus finds tire tracks carved deep into gravel again. Fresh ones. Wide, muddy treads slicing through the crushed stone like an insult. The gate had only been open 10 minutes for the landscaping crew, and someone had already taken the liberty of driving across his land. It's not just disrespect. It's deliberate. He squats down, running his fingers over the grooves. The sun glares hot above his head, but the back of his neck prickles with something colder. Recognition. These aren't just cars taking a wrong turn. They're being sent here. He checks the security cameras. Most of the license plates are blurred from motion, and the angles don't catch enough detail. One grainy shot shows a silver minivan following behind a maintenance truck like it belongs there. Coincidence, he tells himself aloud, but his voice doesn't sound convinced. Then come the footsteps. Click-clack. Heels on concrete. Linda Whitmore appears again, as if summoned by the tension in his spine. She always dresses like she's walking into a courtroom, not a cul-de-sac. Tailored suit, clipboard in hand, smiles sharp enough to slice glass. Mr. King, she sings, stepping up to the edge of his driveway like it's community property. We've had some concerns from the HOA board about your gate being open so often. It creates confusion. Marcus straightens. Confusion for who? She chuckles. It's the kind of laugh people use when they think they're smarter than you. Well, your driveway isn't technically private under the community zoning clause. It connects both ends of Ridgeway Street, so it's a natural easement. Ma'am, he says slowly, this is a deeded private driveway. My survey says so. My closing attorney says so. She waves a manicured hand like she's swatting at an invisible fly. We're just trying to keep traffic flowing until the construction ends. Think of it as doing your part. Marcus narrows his eyes. Doing my part? There it is, that flicker in her face. Something bitter under the surface. She recovers quickly, plastering on her smile. You know, for the community, she says, leaning like they're old friends. You moved in so recently. Perhaps you're not aware how we do things around here. The we hangs in the air like a threat. Marcus doesn't respond. He's busy watching her clipboard, noticing the faint sketch of his property. Driveways circled in red ink. Her nails tap it like a metronome. She turns and walks away without waiting for his response. The moment she's gone, the weight in Marcus's chest returns. This isn't just some oversight. It's not a neighborly misunderstanding. It's a quiet invasion. Later that evening, as another SUV rolls through while he's grilling on the porch, Marcus watches it pass with clenched fists. The gravel spits under its tires like protest. They're testing him. They think he won't push back. They think they can take what he built and bury him under paperwork and polite threats. But they've underestimated the wrong man. By the end of the week, Marcus has had enough. 3 more vehicles roll through without slowing. One even honks like he's the inconvenience. When he tries to stop a gray Lexus to ask why they're trespassing, the driver, a balding man with a smug expression and an HOA decal on his windshield, just shrugs. Linda said it was okay, he mutters, before rolling up the window. Marcus feels his blood run hot. Linda said it was okay. He storms back into the house, boots thudding against the hardwood. He pulls out his manila file of legal documents. The deed, the lot survey, the zoning code printouts he requested months ago. Every inch of his property is legally marked. The driveway is his, not public, not communal, his. He prints out a bold red sign that reads, Private driveway. No HOA access. Trespassing will be recorded and prosecuted. He plants it in the grass near the gate. Big. Unmissable. That afternoon, it's gone. Pulled out. Tossed in the bushes like trash. That night, he installs security cameras, high-res, motion tracking, infrared. He rewires the old system and angles them directly at the driveway. Then he sets up a drone with a 24-hour flight schedule to monitor overhead footage. If they want to pretend ignorance, he'll give them something they can't ignore. 2 days later, the proof arrives. A black SUV, Linda's SUV, guiding a convoy of HOA vehicles straight through his property like it's a parade route. She waves out the window, grinning toward the camera. Marcus watches a playback on his laptop, jaw clenched so tight it aches. He calls the HOA office the next morning. A receptionist answers with fake cheer. Willowbrook Community Association, how may I assist you? This is Marcus King. I need to speak to Linda Whitmore immediately. A pause. I'm sorry, but Ms. Whitmore isn't available. I have footage of her illegally using my private driveway as a public road. I've already sent copies to my lawyer, and I suggest she call me back before this becomes a lawsuit. The line clicks dead. 2 hours later, Linda shows up at his gate again. This time she brings backup. Ron Carver, the HOA president, gray-haired, sunspots on his forehead. That same polite, practiced smile masking something colder. Mr. King, Ron begins, tone syrupy. Let's not escalate things. This is all just misunderstanding. You see, your driveway appears to be the most logical connection point for residents of Brookstone Lane. Marcus folds his arms. It appears to be private property. Linda steps in, her voice sharper. You're creating unnecessary hostility. You may own the land, but the HOA has authority over all access points within the Ridgeway zone. That's a lie, Marcus says. I read the bylaws. Ridgeway ends at the street. My lot was grandfathered in before the HOA was even formed. They freeze for half a second. Ron recovers first, adjusting his collar. Well, let's not argue technicalities. It's a community, Mr. King. We all make sacrifices. Marcus takes a slow breath, his voice calm but hard. Funny how the only one being asked to sacrifice is me. Ron's smile falters. Linda glares. That night, Marcus uploads a footage. The video captures Linda waving HOA cars through his property. He overlays the text. They're stealing my land because they think I won't fight back. The post spreads. His inbox fills with messages, some supportive, others telling him to stop playing victim. But one stands out, a retired black city planner named Gerald Simmons. He offers help. They're lying to you about the zoning. Gerald says in a video call, I helped draw those lines. I know where your rights begin and where their authority ends. Marcus nods. Then let's show them what justice looks like. The lines have been drawn. And Marcus? He's ready for war. Saturday morning dawns with humid haze draped over Ridgeway Street, the kind that makes the air feel thick with something unsaid. But Marcus is wide awake, pacing just behind the gate, coffee untouched in his hand. Today's the day. He hears the convoy before he sees it, engines purring like predators. First comes Linda's sleek black SUV, polished to a mirror shine. Behind her, a row of HOA board members follow, Ron in his spotless Lexus, and two others Marcus recognizes from past passive-aggressive letters. They don't stop at the curb this time. The gates open for a reason, and Linda drives through slowly, eyes fixed ahead like she's claiming new territory. She steps out in heels far too sharp for gravel and strides toward Marcus with the confidence of someone who's already won. Well, she says, arms wide like a pageant queen, looks like the board agrees. Your driveway is the only logical route. We've voted. Effective today, we're designating this easement for community use. You'll be compensated modestly for wear and tear. Ron speaks next, his voice oily with false civility. You should be proud. You're helping the whole neighborhood. Cooperation is what keeps communities functional. Marcus doesn't answer. Not yet. Instead, he steps aside and gestures calmly toward his house. I thought you might come today, so I prepared something. Linda smirks. Let me guess, a strongly worded email? No, Marcus says. A little truth. He reaches into his pocket and pulls out a remote. One click. The monitor on his porch flickers to life, connected wirelessly to his laptop. The drone footage plays across a large screen. Linda, grinning as she waves a dozen HOA tag vehicles through his private driveway. Then a second clip, audio this time. A recorded call from earlier that week. Ron's voice clear and smug. Just pressure him. Say it's community good. If he resists, we'll file nuisance complaints until he cracks. We've dealt with his type before. Linda pales, her mouth opening in slow horror. Ron's smile tightens, his mask cracking. You recorded me? He snaps. You recorded yourself, Marcus says. You stepped onto my property and used it without permission. You tried to intimidate me. You lied about zoning. Behind them, a crowd has started to gather, neighbors peeking over fences, pulling out phones. Whispers ripple through the air like heat. Linda scoffs, attempting to regain control. This is out of context. You're twisting things. We were discussing community planning. I spoke to Gerald Simmons. Marcus cuts in, the city planner who helped draft this neighborhood's zoning map. Turns out, my lot isn't part of Ridgeway's HOA jurisdiction. Never was. He's prepared to testify if needed. Silence. Linda takes a step back. Ron mutters something under his breath. Face darkening. Marcus raises his voice just enough. This wasn't about logistics. It was about control. You saw a black man buy a home outside your little system, and it made you uncomfortable. Linda opens her mouth, but the words don't come. You thought I'd be quiet, Marcus says, walking forward, each word like a hammer strike. You thought I'd roll over. You thought your kind of pressure would work. He points toward the street. But this ends now. I've filed a cease and desist. The footage is already public. Next step is a civil suit, unless you stay off my land for good. The gate buzzes shut behind him. Click. He doesn't look back as they slink away. Cameras flashing from curious neighbors. He knows the war isn't over. But the battle? The battle was his. The HOA thinks the storm has passed. Ron stops showing up. Linda retreats behind tight smiles and generic emails. For 2 days, the neighborhood holds its breath, watching Marcus like he's a ticking clock. But they don't know the explosion is already in motion. Because Marcus didn't just post the footage online. He sent it, along with notarized documentation and a sworn statement from Gerald Simmons, to the city zoning board, the mayor's office, and a local black-owned news outlet known for exposing community-level corruption. Monday morning, the story hits. Headline: Black homeowner battles HOA over illegal land grab and wins. The video plays beneath the headline, showing Linda waving HOA cars across Marcus's property, her smile sharp and triumphant. Then the audio clip, Ron's oily voice admitting their strategy, sneering about his type. By noon, it's viral. The comments section explodes. Thousands of shares. Community members tagging each other. Isn't this your neighborhood? Wait, is that Linda from book club? By 3 p.m., the local news van is parked 2 houses down. Reporters swarm. Microphones stretch toward Ron's front door, but he doesn't answer. Linda is spotted fleeing her office midday, face hidden behind oversized sunglasses. Marcus watches it all unfold from his front porch, his golden retriever lying calmly at his feet. For the first time in weeks, peace clings to the air like morning mist. But the real twist comes at 4:17 p.m. when a black SUV, not Linda's, pulls up to Marcus's curb. Out steps City Inspector Malika Ortega, clipboard in hand, flanked by a zoning enforcement officer and a uniformed sheriff's deputy. We received a formal complaint backed by sufficient evidence. Ortega says professionally, "We're here to conduct a zoning compliance audit on Ridgeway HOA's actions." Marcus nods. "Need anything from me?" "Just your original deed and the footage you sent. You've already made our job easier." They begin inspecting the neighborhood. Every inch. HOA maintenance trucks, easement paths, unapproved modifications. By the next day, the fallout begins. Linda is issued a cease and desist order for trespassing and unauthorized use of private land. A formal ethics investigation is launched against her by the HOA Council. Ron is removed from his position as HOA president. Pending legal review, and his personal communications are subpoenaed. Texts and emails leak, disparaging messages about Marcus's background, and warnings not to let his kind think they can change how things run. Neighborhood Facebook groups implode. Homeowners argue, pick sides. Some issue public apologies to Marcus. Others lash out in guilt and denial. But Marcus never responds. He lets the silence speak for him. That Friday, the city issues a formal statement. Marcus King's property is exempt from HOA control, and any further attempt to use or access his driveway without permission will result in civil penalties. The next morning, a second news story breaks. Linda Whitmore resigns from Ridgeway HOA amid racism accusations. A photo shows her exiting the HOA office, head down as reporters swarm. And there, nestled in the middle of the article, is a quote from Gerald Simmons. Marcus King didn't just defend his land. He exposed a rot that's been growing under the surface of too many neighborhoods, where policy is used to police black homeowners under the guise of community harmony. This time, the truth won. Marcus reads the quote twice. Then he smiles just slightly and walks outside. The gravel on his driveway is untouched. The gate stands closed. The cameras blink red, steady and still. And for the first time in a long time, everything is quiet. IT happens on a rainy Tuesday. The sky is gray, a slow drizzle, soaking Ridgeway like the neighborhood itself is mourning. But Marcus watches from behind his front window, coffee warm in his hand. As 2 unmarked cars pull into Linda Whitmore's driveway, the sheriff walks her out in cuffs. She's not crying. Not yet. She holds her chin high. But it's performative. Behind her, a deputy carries a stack of box files, HOA records, and a personal laptop. The charges: zoning fraud, trespassing, and falsifying community votes. Civil suits are incoming. Word is, Ron's already flipped to save himself. The HOA is in shambles. Its leadership dissolved under scrutiny, its finances audited, and its bylaws temporarily suspended by the city. A new board will have to be elected. Publicly this time, with oversight. Marcus steps outside, lets the rain tap across his shoulders like applause from the sky. His golden retriever pads beside him, tail swaying. Neighbors stand awkwardly along sidewalks, watching the arrest, some with cameras, others with shame in their eyes. Old Mr. Hammond, white, late 70s, walks over holding an umbrella. He's lived on Ridgeway longer than anyone. I didn't know it was like that. He says quietly, I saw what was happening, but I told myself it wasn't about race. Marcus nods slowly. That's what they count on. Hammond swallows. I'm sorry. You were right to stand up. More follow. A middle-aged Latina mom with 2 kids offers to help him repaint his fence. A college student next door drops off banana bread with a note. You reminded me that silence helps no one. A few admit they signed HOA petitions out of pressure, not principle. It doesn't erase what happened 3 weeks later. Marcus gets a letter in the mail. Official seal. City office. They reviewed the case thoroughly. A formal apology. Signed by the mayor. Included is a check, modest but symbolic, compensating him for legal fees and emotional distress. But Marcus doesn't cash it. He frames it. Proof that he didn't imagine it. That what he endured mattered. That someone listened. That same day, he receives another envelope, handwritten this time. No return address. Inside a note, you inspire me to report my HOA too. Thank you for showing the rest of us we're not powerless. We're just waiting for someone brave enough to go first. Marcus sets the note down and breathes. For the first time in months, the air feels light. Clean. He walks outside, onto his gravel driveway, the spikes still gleaming beneath warning signs. But it's not about the traps anymore. It's about the boundary. The line he drew and defended. A young black couple walks past with a stroller. The husband nods at him, respectful, knowing. Marcus nods back, not because he needs their validation, but because he knows what it means to be seen, really seen. And as he looks up at the calm, cloud-clearing sky above Ridgeway, he knows something else. He didn't just win a fight. He changed the rules. One driveway at a time.